Health departments has taken those machines out. You don't have them anymore because there was a danger in it. It was an X-ray machine. And you could put your feet in there and look down, and I'd wiggle my little toes, and the bones, you could see them. Yes, my bones were moving. Here they are. I would step. Mother would say, come on, come on, come on. Poor mother. I was sitting there wiggling my toes, looking at my bones. It was an X-ray machine. Make sure your shoes were the right size. Interesting. Gospel of John chapter 2:23. Now while he, Jesus, was in Jerusalem at the Passover feast, many people saw the miraculous signs that he was doing, and they believed in his name. But Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all men. He did not need a man's testimony about the man, for he knew what was in the man. It's an art to making a resume. Composing your resume is an art. But at the end of that resume will be a page in which you will list your references. The more the better. Of course, you were real careful about who you put in those references, weren't you? Jesus does not need any references about me. He does not need any references about you. He does not need anybody to vouch for you. You come into this church, you want to be a member of this church, the congregation votes to receive you as a member because that's our right to say yea or to nay. Never seen any nays, though there's a couple that I think ought to be. We take a person at their word. We take them by faith. Just like when you call a pastor, you take them by faith. Sometimes you make a mistake, sometimes you don't. Sometimes we make mistakes. We don't check the references. When Jesus was in Jerusalem, and this is very early in his ministry, he was doing miracles, mighty signs. A sign always points to something else. It doesn't call attention to itself. Down on the highway down there, there's a sign that says Baton Rouge Baptist Church. You can sit there at that sign all day on Sunday and you won't have any worship experience at all, probably. It points to this place. Jesus was doing these signs and it was pointing to God, it was pointing to himself. They would see the signs and get all excited about the signs, get all excited about the miracles. It says they believed in his name, but it's not saving belief. Because Jesus could see inside those persons who came as he sees inside of me, as he sees inside of you. And he knows. I'll just throw out here 4 different examples in the Bible of the gospel stories of Jesus about how he could see what was inside of somebody. I'm not going to read all of these to you. You can read them for yourselves, and if after the message you want the references, I'll give them to the first from the 6th chapter of John. And it says in that 6th chapter of John Jesus said, have I not chosen you, the 12, yet one of you is a devil. Now, he meant Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, who though he was one of the 12, one of the disciples, one of the chosen ones, would betray him. Jesus knew that ahead of time. You know what's really marvelous about Jesus? All through his ministry, he walked and talked with his disciples, slept out in the open with them, ate with them, taught them over and over, but he never let on about Judas being a betrayer. In fact, when it happened at the very end of his ministry, when Judas did betray his Lord, they didn't know it until they were in the Garden of Gethsemane and they saw him actually do it. Saw him betray Jesus. I'm always astounded with what Jesus knows about you and what he knows about me, that he keeps quiet. He doesn't let on. He sees inside of all of us. The 4th chapter of John. We know that story where he meets a woman at a well, a Samaritan woman. She's come there to get some water. She's thirsty. He says, I've got water for you that if I give it to you, you'll never need to drink again. It will refresh you forever. She says, oh, I want this water. And he said to her, call your husband. She said, I got no husband. He said, I know you've got no husband. Oh, yes, I know. You've had 5. And the one you're with now is not your husband. And she is so taken back and astounded in that 4th chapter of John. She runs into the city and says, come see him, come see him, come see him. He told me everything about my past. He knows me. This must be the Messiah. And they came and they believed Jesus and they were saved. Luke chapter 21. A beautiful story we love. He's in the temple. This is at the end of his ministry. The last weeks of his ministry. And he's sitting there and he watches people coming up and putting their offerings. Wealthy people, rich people, wonderful, good people. They're coming up and putting their money in the treasury. They wrote their checks big, signed their name big, and they waved it a little bit as they put it in. And he sees a poor, old, bent over widow woman. Clink! Did you hear that? Clink! It was 1/4 of 1 penny she dropped in. And the Bible tells us that Jesus looked up and he saw the rich putting in their gifts. And he saw a poor widow put in her little copper coins. Clink. He saw it. And he knew in their hearts. And he said, these wealthy people, hey, they're doing it for show. It doesn't mean that much. But she loves God. She loves God. She's dedicated to God. Clink, clink, little tiny coins. And he says she gave more than all of them. Luke chapter 21. We love that story. Because Jesus does see what we do. He sees how we do it and why we do it. And he comments on it. The last of these examples is Luke chapter 22. We know this one so well. He has changed the Passover feast in the upper room to the Lord's Supper. Changed its meaning, its significance. And he's having this supper with them. And he says something to Peter. Peter the braggart, the outspoken one. He says, I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you are going to deny me once. also says to Peter, but I want you to know something. When you've had a change of heart, when you've broken down and cried for a while, when you've changed your mind about this, when you are strengthened, when your faith is there, strengthen the other disciples who are just as weak as you are. Strengthen them. In Luke 22. So Judas' betrayer, far ahead of time, he knows it. The woman at the well, far into her past, he knows it. The widow, doing all that she can do because she loves God. He knows it and commends it. And Peter, he knows he will let him down, but he knows he will have another second chance, and he can be used to strengthen other people. Secrecy is impossible with Christ. It's impossible. You have no secrets. Some have attributed to P.T. Barnum in the late 1800s. Others dispute that it was him. But he said, a sucker is born every minute. And it's true. It is so true that we can fool the people. Pretense can fool other people. Hypocrisy can fool other people. Playing the game can fool other people. But your and my hypocrisy never fools Jesus. He sees in your heart. He knows you all of the time. But they came to him out of the sensationalism. It was only temporary. They saw miracles. They saw wonderful things. The devil even knows that. He comes to Jesus in the very beginning of his ministry in the desert, and he tempts him. He tempts him to do something. He says, okay, Jesus, I'll tell you what. Why don't you climb up on the top of the temple, right up there on the very top of the steeple there, right up in this chair, you get up there and jump off and just float down. And people will all believe. Jesus sees through that. He knows that. And yet there are millions of people that are so excited when they see healings, when they see what is purported to be mighty signs, and they're overwhelmed with it. And they flock to the church, or they flock to the Colosseum, or they flock to the auditorium. And they're so excited with what they see. But it's all temporary. Their lives are unchanged by the entertainment that they have. It tickles their ears and it just sparkles their eyes, and it's wonderful to see and to hear, but it doesn't result in a changed life. There's no salvation unless there is a changed life. Until we are not the same people we once were, there's no salvation. Entertainment. Put it on the sideshow. Does not do it. You know what salvation really, really involves? The scripture we read said they believed on him, but he did not believe in them. You see, your salvation and mine, if it's genuine, it's a two-way trust. You trust Christ, you give him your life, you commit yourself to him. And Jesus has entrusted his life to you, his future to you, the gospel to you. It's a two-way trust at all times. You believe in Christ? Does he believe in you? We've heard in language highly spiced that Crow does not believe in Christ. But what I want to know, does Christ believe in Crow? you a person that he can trust? He committed himself to death itself. He died on the cross, poured his blood out in commitment to you because he sees something in you that's real and is worth saving. He sees your potential. He knows what you can be. He wants you to be that, and he gave himself for you. Have you given yourself to him? It's a two-way trust. And that's why in this song, I'm satisfied with Jesus. But the question comes to me as I think of Calvary. Is my master satisfied